going to be a 4,000 hectare project, and it will also become Nigeria's largest mechanized farm.
Following on from Tenny and that excellent presentation, I present to you another integrated agriculture project, which is focused on cassava, and we're aiming to be the leading integrated mechanized cassava farm in Nigeria. Okay, how does this work? Okay, that's a disclaimer which apparently I have to have these days. But just to summarize the project, it's based on 4,000 hectares. It's owned by a family group company. The focus of this project is that it's cassava being so well grown in Nigeria, and Nigeria being a lead global grower of cassava. The plan is to fully integrate technology and mechanization on a large scale to produce right from the seeds to end products, consumer products for commercial industry, not just for subsistence. We're also going to be making this project a pioneering project in terms of we're looking at producing soya as a fallow crop to bring additional revenues and also to replenish nutrients in the soil. And also in year 3, we're putting up a small biogas plant on our farm, which will use the waste cassava tubers to fuel the farm itself, thus bring down the OPEX, the operating costs of the company. And needless to say, we're in this because the cash flows are very attractive and the profitability and the payback period is short. LandAfrique Agro is actually a subsidiary company of the Lawson Group. My father spoke earlier about AGBARA Estates, which has been in the real estate sector in Nigeria for longer than before my time. And we've also been involved in the oil and gas downstream sector in Nigeria through Acorn Petroleum. LandAfrique Agro was conceptualized about 2 years ago. In addition to AGBARA Estates, we have a land bank, a very large bank in Nigeria, and we've been thinking of what to do with it for some time. In 2012, with a lot of what was going on in the agriculture sector in Nigeria, we thought one of our land banks in the arable areas of Nigeria was, we really had to move in this agriculture sector, and we put a team together to investigate, to study the market, and think of what to do. Cassava, as I said, grows very well in Nigeria. It's disease resistant. So we did a market study and we commissioned a feasibility study to put this project together. The project is going to be in 3 phases. First phase is going to be a seed farm which produces our own high quality seeds. The second phase is going to be on a actual main farm which is on 4,000 hectares. And the last phase is going to include state-of-the-art processing plants. One of the issues that hinders cassava industrialization in Nigeria is transportation from farms to processing plants. And we're going to be one of these co-located projects, which includes our processing plant and our farm on the same site. Okay, so we've put a team together which is, it includes expertise from Nigerian expertise and international expertise. We've headhunted a managing director who's got extensive agriculture experience in India, and also a farm manager who is also from India with extensive agriculture experience, but has also got significant experience in Nigeria. He used to work for the Nigerian starch mill. So he's very, very used to working in emerging markets and in Nigeria. And they're backed up by local expertise on the logistics side and also in the agronomy sector as well. The project location. Our project is located 40 kilometers east of Abuja in Nasarawa State, literally just on the border of Nasarawa State in Keffi. It's got excellent access into Abuja and into the east and south of the country. The actual land bank we have there is 8,000 hectares, but we're dedicating 4,000 hectares to this project. this belt of Nigeria is ideal for cassava cultivation. It's slightly drier than down in the south as well. As I mentioned, this project is going to be in 3 phases. The first phase, which we're kicking off now this year, is the seed farm. It's going to be based on 400 hectares. The concept behind this is that this seed farm is going to produce, per seed, we're going to produce 10 tubers for the main farm. So this year, we start on the 400 hectares, which produces the tubers and the planting material for the 4,000 hectares, which will start at the beginning of next year. And then the beginning of the year after that is when we actually commission the processing plants. We're actually starting the manufacture of the processing plants in Q3 this year. So let me talk about the first phase, the seed farm. The seed farm, as I said, is on 400 hectares. It's being funded internally by the group. It's the main point of this seed farm is to de-risk the project rather than go out in the full 4,000 hectares and try and plant everything from the beginning. It also gives us the assurance of having our own seeds, our own high-quality seeds that we source and we continue to produce. And also it gives us the time period to build the plant, the time period to build a team we're very comfortable with as well. The next phase is the farm phase, which is on 4,000 hectares. It's fully mechanized. What we're going to do here is we're going to do a cooperative 2,000 hectares. We're going to farm ourselves. The second 2,000 hectares we're going to train up and to out farmers who we're going to buy their offtake from. This period is going to be up until, during the period of a year, and the end product from that is what we are going to put in the processing plant, which is the 2 products we've decided to produce initially are starch and glucose syrup. And as I explained earlier, it will be after the 3rd year that we integrate a biogas plant for fuel. The plant itself is going to be 2.5 tons per hour, and we're planning to produce 15,000 tons of starch and 15,000 tons of glucose syrup, so about 50-50 spread. The total project cost is, including the land, the processing plant, the main farms, a total of about $40 million. So here we have the total cost excluding the land, but you'll see later on. Why do we choose cassava? As I said, it's a very important source of food calories, particularly in Nigeria and a lot of tropical countries. It's resistant to disease and drought. It's very productive. Each plant produces 5 to 6 kilos of tuber. And also, due to its high water content, the tubers are perishable and they need to be processed near the production site. Our competitive advantage is having this big land mass that we can use for both farming and processing. In terms of world production, we know Africa contributes more than half of the global supply, and 1/3 of that production is from Nigeria. Despite this, a lot of the production is produced for substance level production and is not fully industrialized. Our plan as LandAfrique Agro is to sell to commercial industry, sell our offtake products to commercial industry. Behind Africa, you have Asia and Latin America, but I guess the point of this slide is to show the importance of cassava to Nigeria and to Africa. Look here, the industry, I'll just touch on this. There's a huge demand for starch and for sweeteners in Nigeria. Part of our preliminary studies is speaking to potential off-takers, industrial off-takers in Nigeria who have shown an extremely high demand, and we've integrated this all into our feasibility studies. Sorry I'm going through this so quickly, but I've gone yellow, but the presentation is available online and I'll be available for more questions. So Nigeria cassava situation, despite being such a leader in cassava production globally, the productivity is still pretty low. It can be increased by the use of technology, it can be increased by the use of high quality seeds, it can be increased by the use of industrialization. And also very strict, rigid project planning, which we want to instill in this company. The market is very ready-made. We know that, in fact, on the next slide, the uses of cassava, the starch and the glucose syrup, they go into food products and confectionery items, dairy, bakery, pharmaceutical, into brewing. There's a huge demand for it. We talk about the huge demand for it, but we also look at the demand and supply gap of starch and glucose syrup in Nigeria. At the moment, 85% of Nigeria's starch is imported. A big advantage of producing our own starch in Nigeria is we can still, despite the large capex costs, beat the local prices for starch and glucose by about 20%. So for us, the commercial incentive is there. As a project, we think it's a very compelling investment for a number of reasons. It's fully integrated. It's got a high growth potential, not just supplying the local industry. We're using 4,000 hectares of our available 8,000 hectares. Should this project continue to scale up like we hope it will, we can, in the future, integrate more land into this and produce more products. Cassava, you can produce not just the first two products we've chosen, starch and glucose. We can start looking at things like ethanol. This is much further down the line. I've got a red light, so I'll try and wrap up very quickly, let you look at the numbers. One very important thing I should note here is that as a company, to raise a significant amount of the equity in the third quarter this year, when we're actually going to start putting the down payment on the plant, we're going to do an IPO here in London on the AIM market of the London Stock Exchange. This creates a platform for a lot of Nigerian diaspora and liquidity to exit when you want, and also to track your growth. The bulk of the project is going to be, there's a London-listed agriculture project who has a subsidiary in Nigeria, but this will be a pioneer in that respect, that we're going to be a Nigerian agriculture project joining the oil and gas group here in London on the London Stock Exchange. The red light is flashing, so I guess I have to wrap up. And if anybody has any questions, especially during the break, I can talk about the profitability numbers, which I guess maybe I should just wrap up on. We're looking at IRRs of between 31% for the farming and 40% for the processing plant, so a combined IRR of 36%. We're looking at generating revenues of a total of $24 million a year from the processing plant, which is about $15 million a year in profit before interest and tax. Okay, so I'll wrap up there, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. What a fascinating presentation that was. Can you just clarify one point? You're going to be going on to AIM, and presumably if people invest at this stage, they'll be coming in at a discount rate, so it's quite an attractive time to come in.
Yeah, so we're going to be listed in AIM in the third quarter this year, having hopefully de-risked the project enough in terms of started planting on the seed farm, clearing the farm. Before that, what we would do is, not just imminently, but what we would do is a pre-IPO placement, which will bridge the gap between the third quarter this year and the initial planting of the seed farm. That pre-IPO placement would be open to individuals, to specialists, small funds who want to invest, and that will be at a significant discount to the IPO price. Yes.
That sounds extremely attractive. First question from the floor, please. Yeah, I'll take the gentleman 5 rows back. Just if you can restrict to one question, and then the gentleman in the second row back, please. Gentleman 5 or 6 rows back initially. Oh, well, let's have you've got the microphone. You go first. Hello. Hello.
I can hear you. I don't know if they can hear.
No, we can hear you.
Sustainable townships. My question is, this is a beautiful project. First question is, what are the employment numbers that you expect to be employing? And the second question is, how do you expect to be housing the employees?
Okay, thanks for that. The employment numbers, I guess there are two major categories. One is going to be at management level and one at the labor level. At management level, we're looking at, we're going to have two different locations. One primarily based in Lagos, in charge of marketing and offtake, and the second location obviously on site with the farm managers who will be on rotation. I believe the middle management of the farm and the processing plant will range initially from about 10 to about 30, and then much lower down in the labor, just remembering my numbers, it's going to be close to about 60 in total. In terms of housing, where part of the civil works and construction is producing some accommodation, we've planned to produce accommodation for middle management. Within the area itself, there's a lot of, as you can imagine, in most parts of Nigeria, there are lots of indigents and original owners of the land who already inhabit there. So I hope that answers your question. Okay.
Thank you very much indeed. The second question, gentleman 5 rows back who caught my eye.
Hi, thank you for that. I'm Dr. Charlies and I'm a medical doctor. I just wanted to share something. You mentioned transport, and transport will be a theme throughout the day. And one of the things I've come across is something called hybrid air vehicles, and they're like a modern Zeppelin, but with the safety built in. And they could transport a lot of your stock without having to, clog roads and God knows what else.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll catch up with you in the break, I guess. Okay.
Right, well thank you very, very much indeed. I think we now must move on, but I think with Sagan, you're going to have a lot of people coming up to you during the refreshment break and over lunch. I'm delighted as a UK MP that you're using the British capital markets to raise your money at the IPO. Fantastic news. Many, many thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you.